the way I'm filming this right now is not okay. It's literally 10 p.m. I'm currently in the valley. I'm in Phoenix. And I just finished watching the last episode of the final. And I literally just had to walk outside. It's like 107 degrees still. And I'm just sitting here in the garden. With the pool here. So at least I'm a little bit in the idle spirit, I guess. The wind is blowing. Sorry for the noise in the back. I think there's like a pool cleaning going on, whatever. But I wanted to do this now, so let's do it. What the fuck was that last episode? That was very weird. Let's get into it right away. We're starting off the episode with Lily Rose Depp singing again. And she can sing, bro. Jocelyn, let's give her the credit. She can sing. Or like, that's her character, of course, but Lily Rose Depp, she can actually sing. Like, I would actually buy one of her albums, which is crazy. I also wrote down one of the first things is Tedros looks worse than ever. And he really does. I mean, he's supposed to look worse because he's going through it. He feels awful, whatever. He looks like a druggie. He looks like a pimp. He's not doing fine. And Jocelyn and Tedros are fighting. Jocelyn's like, I'm done with you. I mean, after last week's episode, we kind of get that, right? Jocelyn had already cheated on him. He had already cheated on her. They hate each other now, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure why he was still at the house, though. And Jocelyn was also like, I'm done with you. Like, leave. Get the fuck out of my house. And we also found out this episode that Tedros apparently had been stalking Jocelyn for years already before Diane like told Tedros like, oh, you should invite Jocelyn to the club or whatever, and like point her out. Like, it was all a setup plan. And he had been stalking her for years. Since he was in prison, he was already kind of obsessed with her. So that was interesting. So that kind of like gave away his whole plan of him being like a pimp. And Jocelyn is like, yeah, please just get the fuck out of my house. All the other artists from the singing cult can stay, but like, you need to leave. Pack up your shit and go. And Jocelyn like says to the other people like, yeah, the difference between him and me, I can actually make you a star. And he's just a little creep. And I was like, yes, Jocelyn, tell them. We skip to the part where Jocelyn invites the whole team over. She doesn't even invite them, they just come over. So we have Destiny, Chaim, the music producer Nikki, you know, that old bitch that signed Diane even though she's working with Jocelyn. And that other guy, the very funny rich guy who's also Jewish, I forgot his name. They all come there, sit on the couch to listen to Jocelyn's new album. And then we find out, or actually Leah finds out, because Rob calls her, that Rob was accused of rape. And then we remember the scene from last episode where Rob was sitting on the couch, or like some girl wanted to take a picture with him, and like it was all weird, and he was like, what the fuck? And apparently now she accused him of rape, which wasn't true. And Xander took that picture, so Leah was like, why the fuck would you do that? But yeah, we find out that Rob was accused of rape, and Leah's like, what the fuck? Xander, what do you know about this? So she goes over to Xander. Xander's like, fuck off, I don't want to talk to you. And Leah's just being annoying again and can't speak up. Just being, you know, it's what happens every episode. The wind right now is fucking insane. So yeah, the team is there, and all the other people in the music cult start performing for the team, because Jocelyn's like, this is gonna be my what's it called, the act before I'm gonna perform for my tour, because that's why the team initially came over, because they wanted to talk about the tour. So everyone performs. You have Chloe perform, you have Isaac who performs. Isaac is the black guy with the blonde eyebrow, blonde hair. Isaac is really, I'm sorry, in my opinion, he's really not that good, and the bitch that performs after him is really not that special either. But everyone's like, oh my god, how are you guys all unsigned? That's crazy, you guys are so extremely good. And I was just watching it like, I don't really think they're that great, but like, that's okay, I guess. Like, if you think that, that's totally fine. But yeah, the whole team was like happy and like, oh my god, Jocelyn, like, you're great, you're doing great. And Nikki, the old producer lady, was sitting next to Tedros, who was literally just dying because he was hungover, probably on drugs, whatever. And she's like, oh my god, like, I know you did this. It's not Jocelyn, this is you. Like, do you want to work together? He was like, oh my god, like, this is all you. Like, I can see you did this. Kind of kissing his ass, basically. And then saying, like, okay, we should work together, right? And Tedros was like, yeah, kind of. While on the other side, Chaim and Destiny are like, okay, yeah, we are going to sign all these talented kids, right? And fuck Nikki, because she's a bitch anyways. She signed Diane behind Jocelyn's back like she's a cunt. Like, let's sign these kids. So you have like kind of two teams. You have Nikki's team. Nikki wants to pair up with Tedros now, and you have Chaim and Destiny's team who team up with the other Jewish guy and want to sign all these talented kids. And are still on Jocelyn's side. Because honestly, Nikki's just on the side of money, I think, on the side of her company. I was also wondering when Leah was talking to Xander about the rape allegations. Xander was very, like, defensive, but how? He was only last episode. I think it was last episode when he was abused so much, right? How is he brainwashed that fast that he's all the way working for Tedros? I was very confused by that. Like, how is he all the way up Tedros' ass so fast? I was very confused by that. But he was like, Leah, you're fucking annoying, shut the fuck up. And I was like, you're so right, but also don't talk to her like that, because making fake rape allegations to someone is really fucked up. And we love Rob, he was a cutie pie. By the way, he did not even show up in the rest of the episode. Like, they really did him dirty. It was like, you can show up one time and then bye, or never see you again. And that's the whole problem with this show, The Idol. They leave a lot of stuff unfinished or unnoticed. They do that too in Euphoria. Like, the guy that was also accused of raping Maddie, which wasn't the case. And, like, he got beat up, goes to jail, and then we hear nothing about him anymore for like the second season, which is weird. I don't know if that's like a thing. I don't know, it was weird. It was kind of like, okay, why don't we just hear more about this? But that's already like too deep in. Let's go further with the episode. So yeah, the team is watching all these people perform, and I forget his name, but the Jewish guy, he's so fucking funny. He's talking about how Tedros is so fucked up, right? He's like Scarface Miyagi or something. It's so funny because that's actually what he looked like. Like, okay, he might be fucked up and he might be as high as a kite, but like he did that. Like, I don't know what he does. We are gonna work with him. Like, he can barely put a sentence together. It was really funny. And then Xander is like, okay, now it's my time to shine. I want to sing too. And right along this time, Nikki finds out on her phone about the rape allegations made against Rob, and Jocelyn finds out about them, and Jocelyn immediately knows like Tedros has something to do with this, so she gets incredibly mad because she knows it's bullshit. Rob is not a rapist, and she goes to the hallway with Tedros to fight with him, be like, get the fuck out of my house, I fucking hate you, how can you do this? And obviously he's drunk and on drugs, so he's like, I'm not going anywhere. So she goes back in and tells Chaim, like, get him the fuck out of my house. I don't care how much money you have to pay. Like, do whatever you can, but get him out of my life forever. And that's, like, a pretty important point, and I'll get back to that later at the end of the episode. But, like, she says, like, I don't care how much money you pay, but get him out of my life. She goes back in. Xander is performing. He's really not that good. I don't know, again, why everyone was, like, so... like, it really wasn't that special. Xander wanted his 1 minute of fame, I guess. I'm really not sure why he's so brainwashed all of a sudden so fast. He's all the way on Tedros' team. I'm very confused by that. But I also didn't really care about him because, again, we don't hear anything about him for the rest of the episode either. But, like, Jocelyn comes in and he's like, aren't they all great? And everyone's like, yes, they're all great. So Jocelyn's like, okay, yeah, they're all going to be performing at my show. Like, they're going to tour with me as my front programmer or whatever you call it. So yeah, Chloe, Isaac, Xander, and some other girl are going to be on Jocelyn's tour. I'm going to be touring with her, going to be at a show with her. So that's cool. Like, Jocelyn kind of gave these people a career, even though, like, I think the whole point of Tedros So his philosophy of the cult was like that he was going to give them a career, but it ended up being Jocelyn who was going to save these poor people from their terrible lives. So Jocelyn told Chaim, like, okay, pay whatever money you have, like, to get him out of my life. So Chaim takes Tedros to his car and is like, here's $500,000, get the fuck out of this girl's life, like, leave her alone. And he's like, nah. And honestly, I was thinking the same thing. If Jocelyn is really that rich, I would pay a little bit more money than $500,000 to get someone out of her life. So obviously he said no. He's like, I can make way more money by being with her. And I guess, like, he kind of did love her in some kind of weird, twisted way. So he's like, no, and he ripped up the check. So Chaim was like, okay, then we're gonna do it another way. So what Chaim does is he goes to the lady that wrote the Vanity Fair story. What's her name? Talia. And asks Talia to, like, change the story she's writing for Vanity Fair about Jocelyn's new tour and whatever. She's like, change the story. And then we get a cut 6 weeks later, and then I already know it's like the final episode. Like, oh, they tried to put too much in each episode. I feel like they could have made this series like a 10 episode series and then made the story a little bit more following or something, so you could actually follow the storyline. But like, they said, no, we're gonna do 5 episodes and we're gonna do a 6-week skip. So we skipped 6 weeks ahead. Apparently the Vanity Fair lady wrote a story instead about Jocelyn, not about Jocelyn, but about Tedros and about his history of being a pimp and being a creepy motherfucker and whatever, just exposing him basically. So shout out to her for doing that, shout out to Talia, and shout out Chaim for putting that together. So he's basically cancelled, and I think the police was looking for him or something. He was just being a creep and he was being exposed. Jocelyn is now on tour with the rest of the singing cult that Tedros, like, put together. And oh, also one very important thing about the girl I literally hated on so much the last videos I talked about this show. Leah, dear Leah, she finally did something good. I talked about this last video. I said Leah will get all my respect back if she just either does something, like shows her voice and like talks back to Tedros, or like kills Tedros. But she did something even better, because let's be honest, it's not only Tedros who was awful to her, it was Xander, it was her boyfriend, you know, the motherfucker, what's his name, Isaac, her like boyfriend or whatever in the house. He was basically like being a cheater and not being nice. So you have Xander, you have Isaac, you have Tedros. Jocelyn was also a bitch to her because Jocelyn never stood up for Leah ever. And what did Leah do now finally? She left the house. She just put a note on her pillow that said, for Jocelyn, and I already know, I don't even need to read it. I already know what's in it. It's like, I can't do this anymore. I can't watch you throw your life away. You're being awful to me. You've been a horrible friend. Like, I am packing shit and going. And I was like, yes, Leah. So Leah got all my respect back. Let's just start by saying that, because I've been harsh on her in the other videos. But she did that. She finally left the abusive relationship, the toxic household. She left, finally. Thank God. Leah, I love you. I'm so sorry for being so harsh on you. You did a good thing by leaving. Thank you. You did great. But yeah, again, we had the 6-week ahead skip. Jocelyn's on tour, and I saw like a few weeks ago on TikTok that the scenes, like the concert scenes on the tour, were actually filmed on the Weeknd's tour, which is really cool. Like, imagine being in that crowd and then Lily Rose Depp walks on stage and like starts saying some bullshit and you're just like, what is happening? And it's for a TV show, and you later find that out. We also hear from Miss Jenny, aka Diane, again. Nikki, you know, the producer lady that gave Diane a whole record deal and like a single you can bring out and whatever, like promised her a whole future. She screwed over Diane by saying like, hey, we have to put you on hold because, you know, Jocelyn's doing better again and she is gonna make money again. She's mentally okay again. Like, Okay, bye, fuck you. And this is really, I really hope the music industry isn't like this in real life, but I think it is. It was really mean. Like, I feel bad for Diane, but also it's kind of karma. Because Diane kind of took Jocelyn's spot when Jocelyn wasn't at her best, even though as a friend she should have been there for Jocelyn. And now she got what she deserved, I guess, which was being dropped by the label. Not really dropped, but like basically dropped. But that's the last we saw of Diane. See, that's again, like we never heard anything about her the rest of the episode. I don't know what the point is of making a 5-episode series if you're not gonna like finish the storylines for people. It's just like, oh, we see Diane, you hire someone who's really famous from Blackpink, you know, Jennie, and then you give her like a 5-second storyline and don't really tell us what's going on with her. I think it's kind of weird. Didn't really understand it, but like, okay, like her career's over, I guess, because Jocelyn is back. Then Chaim and Jocelyn, I think, talk about, so how much did you pay to get rid of Tedros? And Chaim was like, a lot. So in my mind, I was like, oh, they're talking about like they've killed him. Like, how much did you pay for it? A lot. Like, I thought, okay, they probably killed him, right? How was I wrong? Because then we find out about the article, right? So I thought, oh, maybe he killed himself. Again, very wrong. He was very much alive. His rat tail and all were still living the dream. And the whole team was talking about like, oh, Tedros lost everything because of that article. Like, he even lost his rat tail. That was really funny. Like, that motherfucker who said that is so fucking funny. He needed way more screen time. But like, they all thought like they did something and like Tedros was gone just by writing that article. They should have just killed him. That's the only way they could have got rid of Tedros, because he is very much still alive. And here comes the whole what the fuck moment from the show. Because Tedros shows up at Jocelyn's concert and he gets a ticket to get backstage. And I honestly thought like, oh, maybe, no, he's alive, okay, what the fuck, but like, he gets backstage, Destiny's there, Destiny gives him a little speech about how he's a dumbass and how she would literally kill him if he ever does anything dumb. And I was like, kill him right now. We already have seen that he's done dumb things. He was a pimp in the past, I mean, for God's sake, like, just kill him, right? But no, then Jocelyn shows up and now it gets weird because Jocelyn's like, I've missed you. I don't like living apart from each other. And I was like, wait, what? Is she like joking? What's going on? Like, they haven't seen each other for 6 weeks. I mean, I thought he was dead, but like, Jocelyn still loves him. I was very confused. And I saw on the timer of like the episode that it was only 6 minutes left. And I was like, wait, is she gonna shoot him? And it didn't happen. And apparently the hairbrush situation comes back for a second. He picks up the red hairbrush. It's like, is that the hairbrush your mom used to hit you with? And she's like, yeah. And he looks at it, he's like, this is brand new. And she like looks at him and he's like, what the fuck? He has a little what the fuck moment. So I was like, has she been lying to him all this time about the hairbrush? All the times that I thought he was in control, actually Jocelyn was in control, because that wasn't even the original hairbrush. She had already moved on, but she just needed him, I guess, to play the mother role. Like, I was very confused. Then the concert starts, Jocelyn is on stage, and then I thought like, oh, what if Jocelyn like shoots him on stage? And I was like, that's so not gonna happen because there's only 3 minutes left of the episode. And Tedros comes on stage because Jocelyn said, let me introduce you to the love of my life. And Tedros shows up. And the whole team is like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what the fuck? And I feel like everyone who watched the episode was like, what the fuck? Girl, he mentally abused you, physically abused you, physically abused your friends, who you later let perform with you on the concert. He was mean to your best friend, which led her to leave, which you obviously don't care about because we don't hear anything about Leah anymore for the rest of the episode. Your team didn't like him. You literally asked Chaim to get rid of him and pay whatever amount of money for it. What's going on? What is up? I was so confused. And like on stage, she gives like this whole speech and like, you're mine forever. You're mine forever. And then the episode ends. Everyone is cheering for Jocelyn. I guess she has her popularity back. Like, her tour is going great. The team talked about how all her singles went super good and they sold super good, and like she got millions and millions of streams. So like she got her whole life back. Like, she got her flow back. She got music she likes. She lives with her happy music cult. But I was just very confused about the whole Tedros situation, and her team too. And then the episode was just over. And the first thing I felt like, oh, this is an open end. But then again, it wasn't really an open end because it ended. Like, she got everything she wanted, right? Like, the show was about her. She was lost at the beginning. Very mentally broken girl, mourning her mom, was making music she didn't like. She met this guy, met new friends, makes music she likes now. And she's the boss in the whole story. So it basically ended, but like, I was just not sure like why Tedros was still like in the picture, like what was going on. And then I read this comment on Instagram, or not on Instagram, I read this comment on TikTok, because everyone was like, why did they get back together? And someone commented, because she has control over him now, and she needs inspiration because she can't make music alone, apparently. And that makes a lot of sense, actually. Because like I said, in the beginning of the season, she was a lost puppy. She was mourning her mom. She was not doing okay. She had a song that was supposed to come out like that week, which she didn't even like. And then Tedros comes in her life, even though he was like a creepy stalker, but for whatever twisted reason, he came into her life. And I guess like very early on, she found out about that and used him for inspiration. I guess that's kind of what happened. Like, the song she didn't like that she was supposed to put out, like, I'm a freak, I'm a world-class sinner, like, they gave that song to Diane. Diane kind of screwed over Jocelyn, and at the end of the day, Diane got screwed over, and she couldn't even put out the single anymore because Jocelyn was doing so great. So, in that case, it was Jocelyn 1, the rest 0. Then you have the team that was, let's be honest, they were kind of harsh on Jocelyn. They didn't want her to make music that was more her. They wanted her to stick to the label and to like the whatever they wanted her to be, right? And she ended up doing her own thing. So again, Jocelyn 2, the rest 0. She won on that too. And then we have Tedros thinking that he was the one in power the whole time in their relationship. But that wasn't true either, because apparently Jocelyn found out that Tedros was an asshole, or she only found out last episode, you know, when she found out about Diane. And she was like, you know what, I'm stronger now. I am gonna use you. So I guess in the last episode she replaced the hairbrush with a new one, because she's like, I'm strong enough now to handle it on my own. And I'm gonna kick you out of the house and I'm gonna take over the whole cult or whatever. So again, Jocelyn 3, the rest, including Tedros, 0. So I guess in all ways, Jocelyn is like the hero or the boss in this story. Like, everyone took advantage of her. Let's be honest, Leah took advantage of her, her whole team took advantage of her. They all lived in her house, even though nobody said anything when she was being abused. Her team just wants to make money off her. And Tedros was like, oh, look at this lost lamb that I can lead into heaven or whatever. Everyone took advantage of her, and in the end of the day, she took all the power back and said like, fuck you to the team, fuck you to Tedros. Well, not really to Tedros, because apparently she still needs him because she can't make music without him. But she did say like, you're mine forever, instead of Tedros saying you're mine forever. She is in charge now, she's the boss. And if she decides I need Tedros to make more music, she can decide that. And if she needs the rest of those cult members, singing people, whatever, to have a good concert, she can use them, because she is the leader now and they look up to her, because she was the one getting them in the concert in the first place, right? To perform on a stage in front of thousands of people. So she is the end boss now, and everyone has to basically bow down to her because she made it. She crawled up, even though it was by Tedros' help, even though that help was questionable. But she yeah, she ended up winning, like, I guess, in the end game, in the picture. And all of this now makes sense to me, now that I'm saying it out loud, but what the fuck? Like, the whole episode was just what the fuck. I feel like we need another few episodes of, like, a backstory, like what the fuck happened to Leah. Like, I guess we don't care about Leah that much because fuck Leah, but just very, like, it keeps me thinking. I guess that's the point. They want you to keep thinking about it and make assumptions. What do you think that happened? It's interesting. It's very interesting. I mean, the whole show, the whole 5 episodes of The Idol, it was all beautiful. All the scenes, all the shots were, like, aesthetically pleasing. I will definitely use one of them as my computer background or something. Like, everything was beautiful. The music was good. The characters were, I guess, good. As much as everyone was hating on the acting of The Weeknd, I think his acting was phenomenal, actually. He was playing an annoying character and he did that very good. So I think overall the show was really good. The story was just, I had so many what the fuck moments, and I feel like they could have given us a few more episodes and could have gone more in depth about certain storylines. But I guess they wanted us to keep thinking. I guess they wanted us to think, like, what the fuck after every episode. And they wanted us to keep thinking, like, why do these people do what they're doing? And why does the whole music industry take advantage of a mentally ill girl? And how does she take her power back? I guess that's the storyline. Because there was this one scene where the Jewish guy that, like, is really funny, he said like there's a gold mine in mental illness. Like, the team, at the end of the day, even though they said, like, oh, we care about Jocelyn and we will get rid of Tedros or whatever, they still take advantage of the poor girl. Like, they say mental illness is a gold mine. Like, all they think about is, like, oh, we sold all the singles, blah blah blah. Nobody ever asked Jocelyn, are you okay, girl? It's all so fucked up. All they care about is the tour and the show and the money. I mean, Nikki, who first was trying to make a deal with Tedros to, like, sign all his little cult member singers, whatever, when he got canceled in the Vanity Fair article, like, she was all the way on Team Chaim and Destiny again. Like, they don't care about people. They only care about themselves. The whole music industry only cares about selling music, making money, and they care about themselves. I think that's what the whole show is about. And then how, like, a mentally ill girl survives this industry. Like, if you go low, I go lower. That's what Jocelyn was like. Like, you think you have control over me by beating with a hairbrush? Guess what? I already changed that hairbrush, or, like, bought a new one weeks ago. You think you have control over me? I have control over you, and you just don't know it yet. I think that's the whole point of the show. Yeah, that's basically all I have to say about it. I thought this last episode, I didn't think it was good at all. Just because I wanted more, but now that I'm talking about it, it makes more sense to me. I guess I just have to finish the story myself on camera here. But the show overall, I give it a 7. I would not watch this again, ever. I would watch it again just to, like, take some screenshots and, like, change my wallpaper on my computer, because it's such a beautiful show. Like, the whole scenery, the whole clothing, whatever, was beautiful. The Weeknd, you have a lovely house. I would love to, like, tour it sometimes. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this last episode. Yeah, it's done now. 5 episodes. It's gone really fast. So let me know what you guys thought of the episode. If you guys thought it was good. If you agree with, like, the story ending like this. Like, what do you think Jocelyn and Tedros are still together? Like, let me know. And maybe there will be a second season. Who knows? Who knows? Please, I would like to know how this goes further. Like, if the cult stays a cult, if Jocelyn is not a cult leader. I want to know. But yeah, this was my whole opinion about the series of The Idol. Make sure you watch all the videos, episode 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like this video, subscribe. Maybe I'll react to more shows. Maybe they'll make another show like Euphoria or The Idol. Like, I'm ready for it, because everyone's saying like, oh, I'm not watching that, it's cringe, it's awful. It's really not that awful, and we're all watching it on Sunday night, so let's not lie to each other. We need this drama in our lives. We need it. And now I'm literally going inside because it's fucking 107 degrees. It is 10:30 and I am outside by the pool in the wind. Like, I need to go to bed. So yeah, I'll see you guys another time. I'm just